it's Hyacinth Fraser here from Property in Action. Please do subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be informed of more videos. Hi there, Sarah. Thanks for agreeing to being in conversation with me.
That's fine.
Yeah, great. Say something about who you are and what you do.
Okay, cool. So my name's Sarah Poynton, and I run a group of property companies. I started in property about 3 years ago, and I started with rent to rent. So I run a rent to rent portfolio, HMO and serviced accommodation. I also run a portfolio building service. So I work with other investors who want to build their property portfolios but don't always know how or have the time. So they basically pay me to do it on their behalf. So that's my main income. That's where I kind of make most of my living from. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I've got kind of some offshoots from there. So we're doing developments and other bits and pieces now, and we've got a training company as well. So I do all things property. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to property. I love all things property, and sales and marketing. They're kind of my favourite topics to talk about.
Lovely. Listen, we're going to cover off some of those anyway in our conversation. But as you've mentioned it, just say a little bit about rent to rent, what it is, how you do it.
Okay, so rent to rent is where you become a tenant and you get permission to sublet the property to other tenants or other residents. You're effectively looking after the property on behalf of the landlord, but in a really different way to what a letting agent would. You become the tenant, so you take responsibility for it, you take responsibility for the rent, for the bills and everything, but you have permission to sublet it out to your clients, to your tenants, your guests and residents.
Okay, and that permission is contractually based, because obviously you want to sign a contract to that effect.
Yeah, so it's just a tenancy agreement, but like a company tenancy, not an AST. You wouldn't want to sign an AST, but you become the tenant, and the tenant has permission to sublet.
Okay, lovely. So I've taken some notes. I'm just going to look down to the side just to make sure we cover off all the broad areas that we've spoken about. Okay. Talk to us about your property journey from being in massive debt onto where you are now. I think, 6-figure income in relation to property.
Yeah, so 2015 was quite a telling year for me. I got married in 2015, and at the time I was running my own business. I was doing it really badly. My old business taught me every way not to run a business. I made all the mistakes you could possibly make, and I think the biggest reason for that is because I had nobody to help me. I didn't really know what I was getting wrong. I just knew that the money coming in and the money going out were not aligning. And because of that, at the beginning of 2015, I had to get a job. So I'd gone self-employed. I'd given up the job, and it didn't work, and I had to go back. And I felt at the time that was a real step back. It was quite painful for me. I didn't enjoy that at all. I took some consulting work. And because I was in about £60,000 worth of debt at that point, so kind of middle of 2015. And it was after I got married. I sat, and I think like most people do when they go away after they get married, and they talk about what does the next chapter of life look like, and everything just kept coming back to not having any money. And so we made the decision that actually what we would do was start a property business, and we would aim for cash flow. So that's why we focused on rent to rent. It took me 6 weeks to do my first rent to rent deal, which we still have now today. And in the January after that, so January 2016, I discovered what deal packaging was, portfolio building was. The game changed at that point, because I realised I could make money from property without ever buying any myself, and without the risk factor of managing tenants, furnishing, doing all the bits and pieces that went with that. So 2016 was was a year where I focused on what I call lumpy money. Is where we make big lumps of money in chunks, and that's basically what deal packaging is. It's where you build a portfolio for other people in return for a consultancy fee. So yeah, it was 2015 was not good for me, not at all. Okay. I was going to swear then, but I didn't. It wasn't good for me, and it took a long time to realise that actually the reason why my business before wasn't working was because I didn't understand how to run a business. It wasn't that I was doing it wrong. I just didn't really know what the things to do were. what kind of accountant I needed, or what tax I should be saving up to pay at the end of the year, and all these different things. And I got a mentor in my property business, which I've never had before. And actually, I believe that and the shift in my mindset were the two biggest things that kind of changed things for me. I started to realise that actually things were possible.
Oh, fantastic. So one of the things you started to talk about was within 6 weeks of deciding to go into property, you got your first rent-to-rent deal. So how did you get that? What are the various ways of accessing potential rent-to-rent properties, please?
So I found that deal on a website called Purple Bricks, where I contacted the landlord via the Purple Bricks platform, and went to see it. I went to meet him, put in an offer, and he said no to start with. They usually say no the first time you put in an offer, and so I recalculated, and then I re-offered, and he said yes, and we got that on a 5-year rent-to-rent contract.
Okay, so you talked about having a mentor. That was a bit of a turning point for you. How was that a turning point? How did you work with your mentor?
So, yeah, I mean, having a mentor, anybody who hasn't got a mentor, I don't think you have any idea what you're missing until you have a mentor. Actually, the first mentor I ever had, he gave me his phone number, which was probably a mistake on his part, because I just WhatsApped him almost every day, and he would answer the question. And ultimately, to do my first deal, I was asked a question that I didn't know the answer to. So I would ask him, and he would answer it, and then I would answer it back to the client. And then they'd ask me another question that I didn't know the answer to. So I'd ask my mentor, he'd answer it, and then I'd go back to the client. And it kind of went like that until I knew the answer. My mentor, we basically went into business together because I was doing pretty well, and he realised that actually there was a bigger picture there. So we actually went into business partnership with each other reasonably quickly. And so our rent-to-rent portfolio we share.
Is that Justin?
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, Justin Whitmore.
Yeah. My deal packaging business, that's my business. And I've got a couple of other companies that I've got now that are linked, like developments and things like that. We do some together and we do some separate. But yeah, he was an amazing mentor. I mean, he continues to be an amazing mentor. We're friends now, business partners as well, but he definitely puts his mentor hat on every now and then. And likewise now I kind of return the favour with him as well. But working with a mentor for me, one, helped me get my head straight and the mindset stuff straight. The way that I think about things now compared to the way I used to think about things is really different. But he allowed me to shortcut, I think. I was able to ask questions that I couldn't really find out anywhere else, and I could get to the answer quickly, which meant I could move the business quickly.
If you had to offer some top tips on identifying an ideal mentor, what would those top tips be? So what was important for you, I suppose?
Time. Someone who could genuinely give me the time that they promised me. Not somebody that how do I say this? I'm not swearing. I was going to swear again, but I won't. Somebody who genuinely had the time to give to me, and not somebody who sold me a dream and then disappeared off the planet, which unfortunately I know happens a lot. I know it happens a lot because I work with people who've been through that process. And actually what was great about Justin is that everything he said he would give me, he delivered on every single time. He's been late for a few meetings. Justin is late for a few meetings. That's Justin, right? We get that. Once I got used to working with him, though, we figured that out, and that was fine. But the fact that he gave me his time, and actually when I first started working with Justin, it was more, I definitely took more out of the relationship than he did because I needed more support than he did. Now, actually, it's very balanced. And I think if people are looking for a mentor, one, can they get the time and the support they actually need? And two, is the mentor doing what they say they're doing? Because I've worked with lots of different mentors over the last 3 years now. Some have been amazing. Some have been not so amazing. And I think a lot of being able to really look at what your mentor is doing day to day in the business that you want to run is really important. when we're mentoring people, we bring you to the houses, we show you the deals that we're doing, we introduce you to the investors that we work with. You know, we do that because that's the support that our clients need. But I think if you're picking a mentor, pick somebody whose values you align with, that you trust, that has got time for you, and that is doing what you want to be doing.
And also perhaps go for a recommendation as well, where people have actually used mentors and it's actually worked for them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Deal packaging. Talk to us a little bit more about what that is, what it involves.
So deal packaging is kind of an industry jargon term for portfolio building.
Portfolio building, did you say?
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're doing when you're packaging up, it's where you are acting as the eyes, the ears, and the legs on the ground to go and find a deal that works. So to find an opportunity that an investor could make money from. So that could be a rent to rent, it could be a conversion, it could be a development, whatever it is. Your job as a packaging agent is to go out and find it, research it, and put the offer out, get it secured, make sure it's structured in a way that makes money. And then put all of that information in front of your investor to make it easy for them to buy it. And then they actually take the deal from that point and they will onboard it into their own business, and they will give you a fee for doing all that legwork for them. So you're actually acting as a consultant.
Okay, so they give you a fee for doing all of that for them, and so in effect, as you said, you're their consultant. You've also just talk to us a little bit more about some collaborations. What are the benefits of collaborations? Yeah.
So I think when I first started in this business, in my old business, I used to protect my business like this. I never wanted to share it with anyone. I didn't ever want to tell anyone who my clients were. I always wanted to just really kind of keep everything to myself. And since joining the property industry, I've realized that was probably one of my biggest mistakes, because I think what you need to do is surround yourself with people that add value in the pockets of the business that you don't have your own value in. So for example, I am a terrible administrator. I'm a terrible administrator. My job is relationships and acquisition. That's what I'm great at. And so actually I know that I need to have people in my team that can deliver that side of things. So by having collaborations in different aspects of the business, we've been able to grow the business much quicker than probably what we would have been able to do without it. So Justin is one collaboration. So I work with Justin in partnership. I've got students of mine where we will joint venture on splitting fees, for example. So they bring the deal and I bring the investor. And between us, we'll split the money. But even down to things like, working on projects, doing the sourcing, the funding of deals, working with our broker, all of these people, as long as everyone gets paid fairly and everybody brings a pocket to the table, then actually collaborations work really, really well. You need to define who's doing what. You need to make sure it's clear from the beginning who's responsible for what. And what the objectives are, what the outcomes are. I've had collaborations that haven't worked, I'll be really honest. And it's generally my experience, the reason they don't work is because at the beginning, you don't define the rules. You don't define what actually the collaboration looks like. So if anyone is going to collaborate, brilliant. But just at the beginning, make sure you sit and have the conversation that is, what if it goes wrong? What if we can't sell it? What if this? What if that? What if you drop down dead? All the things that you have to think about. If you do that at the beginning, your partnership will bloom. If you don't, actually, it can go wrong.
So are you putting that in a legal contract, or is it a handshake?
I've done both, if I'm really honest. I've done handshake deals and I've done legal deals. Again, I think actually it would be remiss of me to advise people to do anything but have a legal contract. I think it's always a good idea, but if I'm very honest, I've definitely done deals on a handshake as well.
Okay, lovely. Sarah, is there anything else that you want to say about your business, what you do? And I know certainly you do training. You started to talk about that, so maybe you can talk to us about what you're doing currently, what people can get involved with you, and how they can contact you.
Okay, great. So my training company is called Cogito Wealth.
Spell that, please.
It's Cogito Wealth. and everything that we do is designed around implementation. So we know the biggest challenge for people getting started is they can learn what to do, but often it's the how to do it, the actual where should I click, what should I say.
That's right. Yeah,
it's the implementation bit that's missing. So we have 3 tiers of how we work. We have a 3-day training event that myself, Justin, and 4 other mentors under my team deliver. And it's implementation. So, for example, we did one in January, and in the room we had 30 investors. We're quite intimate. We only do small groups, really. We had 30 investors, and the room left with over 120 deals in their pipeline to be working on in their business. So we do actual work. We do calls, we do marketing, we set up your landing pages. For us, everything we do is about implementation. So we do our 3-day, we have our one-to-ones as well. So people can say, Sarah, do you know what? I want to come and just spend a day with you at your office and learn and see what you do. So you can do that. You can also do that with Justin as part of the team. Or there's our mastermind program. So we have a 13-month program, which is designed, again, capped. It's a very small group. It's capped at 40 businesses. We only ever work with the 40 businesses in a group at once. And that's because actually everything we do is so hands-on. Yeah. It's really important you get that level of support. So, for example, today I was out on viewings with one of our masterminders to help her get a deal over the line. And that's the support we offer.
Yeah. So did you say it's a 3-month program, the mastermind, and you work with 40 businesses?
Correct.
Okay, lovely. So how can people contact you? Facebook?
So, Facebook's always a good shout because I'm definitely on there a lot. However, I do get lots of messages, so it's actually better if you drop me an email or to the business so that we can make sure somebody in the team comes back to you as quickly as possible. The email address is learn, LEARN, at Cogito, COGITO wealth.co.uk, and that will go through to the team, and obviously just tell them a bit about you and what you're trying to do with your property business, and then we can give you advice on where we think actually you need to go first, if that's actually do some training, or whether actually you want us to come out on patch and spend some time with you. There isn't really a one size fits everybody because you're all doing something slightly different. So tell us about you, and then we can help you to move forward in the best direction.
Lovely. Thank you, Sarah. And what I'd like people to do is subscribe and hit the notification button for more videos.
Yeah, absolutely.